So, Tamara, please tell me my eyes are playing tricks on me, or that this is a April Fool's Day joke 2 days past its best before date. But Toronto demanding decriminalization of fentanyl and meth for kids?
Oh my gosh. I wish it were an April Fool's Day joke. Actually, this first came out on March 31st. So it's a couple of days old. That was on Friday. So yeah, the city of Toronto, the first sentence reads here, has released its sweeping plan to decriminalize all hard drugs, including fentanyl and crack cocaine for any age. And the sweeping plan, you can check it out for yourself there with the hyperlink. Toronto's request is even more lenient than the decriminalization order granted to the entire province of British Columbia by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau earlier this year. The city is asking that the federal government grant a Health Canada exemption for all drugs, extending even to children.
Unbelievable.
In British Columbia's case, they granted the exemption only applied to adults, but Toronto wants it to include all people, including youth, because criminalization does not effectively deter youth substance use. The data show that youth in Toronto between the ages of 12 and 17 use unregulated, i.e., illegal drugs, and are vulnerable to the same harms associated with criminalization as adults. This exemption does not apply to childcare facilities, airports, or schools, right? Because those places need to be safe, and we need to not promote the use of illicit drugs in those facilities. But nonetheless, this is just more woke, bogus policy trying to be pushed forward by the city of Toronto, I guess because they don't really have a mayor. And so the official candidacy, I think it is, kicks off today there, David.
Yeah, no, there's the first day to register for mayor. And I think you're right. When the cat's away, the rats will play. And, Tamara, it is unbelievable. I mean, like, why just fentanyl and meth? If you're a drunk driver, you've lost your license, maybe had a serious accident, maybe you killed somebody, so you don't have access to your car anymore. Why don't we reach out to that alcoholic staying at home and bring him bourbon and scotch so he doesn't get a case of withdrawal? Tamara, a week ago Friday, I was attending, it was a business association dinner out in Scarborough. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith was being given an award. And I won't go too deep into the details, but in her acceptance speech, she talked about how Alberta is serving as a model for the rest of Canada and indeed, dare I say, the world in terms of dealing with those addicted to these hard drugs. And essentially, the police go over and they say, listen, you have a choice. You can go into rehabilitation or you can go to jail. So they almost always choose rehabilitation. When they're there, they are put into facilities that look like college dormitories. And they live in a communal basis. They're taught, once again, because you have to introduce, for some of these people, they've been so rehabilitated for so long, they can't function alone. So you teach them how to cook, how to shop, and half the day is spent, doing chores. The other half of the day is spent, taking seminars, taking those programs that are designed to get you off these horrible drugs that, when used as directed, are going to end your life. That's how we should be taking care of this issue, not facilitating more consumption, because otherwise, it's really a tale of two cities. You can have the Alberta model, or you can go to Vancouver and you can go to certain parts of the downtown area that look like the set for The Walking Dead. They are dangerous places. I side with the Alberta model.
Yep. I side with the fact that this is further enabling an issue. And we can see that through harm reduction policies, that there isn't very much harm that's actually being reduced. We have more overdoses, more use of illicit drugs than ever before in the places where these progressive policies have been welcomed and taken up by government officials. And again, it's taxpayers footing the bill to give drugs to addicts instead of getting them the help and the mental health supports that they need, right? It's not just drug addiction. I will fully acknowledge that there is a whole litany of mental health issues, usually stemming from childhood trauma that takes place and is the precursor to addiction. And we need to be addressing and facilitating mental health supports and support for that child, dealing with and addressing that childhood trauma that stems as and turns into the need and the feelings of utilizing drugs and addiction. If we spent the billions of dollars that we're giving to big pharma to fund use of illicit drugs and giving them to children on the streets, if we switched and we put that money over into mental health supports that were actually providing tangible resources to individuals who need that sort of care, then I think you're going to be looking at a much cleaner, more functioning societal fabric outcome at the end of the day than just enabling drug addiction and letting people spiral out of control with their addictions under the guise of being progressive and humane, right? This is sold to the public as those things. Meanwhile, you're ignoring the root of the issue and you're just enabling an addict to destroy their lives and everyone around them.
No, you're 100% right, Tamara. And when we add the age equation to this, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this child abuse? I mean, if a mom and pop convenience store sells a pack of cigarettes to somebody who's just even a few months under the age of majority, they're going to get heavily fined, eventually lose their liquor license. You can go to a Liquor Control Board of Ontario store, and if you have somebody who's a minor even holding a bottle for you to bring to the cash register, that's not allowed, right? So there's all this, regulation out there in terms of, protecting minors from things like liquor, tobacco. But when it comes to these hardcore fentanyl, are you kidding me? I mean,
right.
Tamara, like I said, in my book, that is child abuse by the state.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you bring up a good point there on the tobacco. I remember as a kid, my mom sending me to the corner store. I'd go pick up here's $5 at the time, right? That's how much they were, maybe even less. Go pick me up a pack of cigarettes. And she had to send me with a note, and sometimes they had to call. And that was, in very early on in the, would have been the early 90s. And the convenience store used to give me a pack of cigarettes. But, fast track 5-10 years afterward, you couldn't go into a convenience store and purchase a pack of smokes if you didn't have ID to show on you for the life of you. And now we're just going to be giving those minors fentanyl. I mean, wow, we've really come full circle, haven't we?
Oh,
that's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.